and I'm not quite sure about the experience level of some of these guys with that bump drafting. So we could see some pretty interesting circumstances as a result of that today.
Yep, and just as we speak, folks, the it's going to be one heck of a start. Now, Eden, I'm going to get you to call the start for us if you're happy to do that. And it's getting quite close now, so why don't you take over?
Sure thing as they're heading around NASCAR Turn 4 at the moment. We're waiting until the pace car gets off. One thing that I should mention, though, is that three of the top four guys, Rudy DeVitt, Fabian DeJean, and Pascal and Joey Smeet, are on a team. So these guys might want to work together and try to get a lead ahead of the pack early on.
Yeah, that's right. So they must be working in pairs, even though some of the teams are in fours. But a couple of them are right up there. Rudy DeVitt, I'm not sure if he was part of a team, but he's leading. Go ahead.
Yep, meanwhile, Rudy DeVitt leading him away. Was waiting a little far away from the pace car, but he does have the 96 driver, Pascal Dukers, pushing him ahead as Fabian DeJean and Joey Smeet slotting behind, and it's four-car pack leading away with a little gap to the guys behind as they, as Jarno Panicky and Maxime Reinstein are side by side. They're going to slot into line there. A lot of these guys in the front already single file are starting to slot together, and there's a big gap with those top four guys already.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting to see them taking off and starting bump drafting so early. The normal sort of thing, Sean, is for people to kind of get into line normally around the lower part of the track, and then just take a few laps to bed the tires in and to get settled. But it seems like some of these guys are taking off from the start.
Yeah, it does. Maybe they found a little bit something different in testing earlier this week about how they were running, and a lot of it may have to do with experience level. As we know, these are road racers, if not all road racers, and they're kind of really doing this for the first time as an entire group. 41 drivers on the track.
Yeah,
One,
well, we do have Rudy DeVitt leading it. Now, Rudy DeVitt, we must say, has led almost every single race that we've seen so far out of the three. And Pascal Dukas is his partner, but we see there Ayrton in third place, Fabian de Jong and his partner, Joey Smith, coming right up on the back of them.
Yeah, and right behind them as well is Maxime Reinstein and Jarno Panicky. This six-car pack does have about a second lead ahead of the seventh place car of Cone Jarrett, so they're already starting to pull away. Just also mention that Dennis Garrison, who started in the top 10, he went to the outside at the start and dropped back so he could connect with his partner Roy Visser. So those guys are going to probably try to look to work together to catch back up to the lead guys.
Yeah, Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser, they are in 10th and 11th respectively at this time. So it's good to see there, Sean. Everybody's partnered up as you have to be in a race like this. And uh, anybody who hasn't is going to be in trouble for sure. But our top 10 guys seem to be settling in quite nicely. Everything's very clean at the moment. So what are you seeing? How did the back markers take off there? Anybody see that?
Well, I did. I'm watching them now, but we talked about it. We've already got one poor fella here falling back quick because he lost the draft. Yuri Flossie, currently sitting in 40th, is losing. He's lost the pack. He's lost him, and he's just backing up now.
Yuri Flossie, yeah, just having a look at him now, the red car, number 93. He is a dead duck unless he can catch up to the pack. But he's dropping off pretty quick as everyone else in front of him there seems to be partnered up. And they will drop him like an absolute stone. So I hope he can catch the pack again, which he seems to be doing quite easily by the looks of it. So that's quite strange, Sean.
Well, the five cars in front of him were mixing it up a little bit going into the turn, and I think a few guys were lifting, and so Yuri is getting a break here because he is starting to catch that pack again. It looks like he's found the draft again.
Well, that's good. It would be terrible for somebody to be lost in lap number 5 of a 100-lap race. So how are we going back up the front there? Rudy DeVitt still leading Eton?
Yep, a few more guys every few laps are catching up to this pack, so the pack is starting to increase quite a bit. Dennis Garrison and Roy Viss are some of those right at the back of the pack. There hasn't been any moves yet. Everyone's single file, so I think they're just going with the strategy that I was talking about before, just like staying clean and keeping in touch with the pack, but not necessarily making any moves.
Yeah, so now it's quite interesting. Let's talk about strategy for a
Hey
moment, here,
guys,
Sean.
Keys Yokums is in the pits. Not really sure why, but it looks like he's getting he's getting tires and fuel. 4 tires and fuel for Keys Yokums. Not quite sure why he's pitting.
Well, that is interesting. I was just going to talk about strategy. His car looks quite fine, as far as I can see. I'm not sure. Can anybody just remind me? Do they have fast repairs on for this particular race?
Yes, they get 1 reset.
Okay, so if he did any damage that we did not see, then his car has reset. So he's rejoined now, Kees Jokums, and he's still on the apron there. He's if he's pitted through damage, then he's going to have a pretty bad time getting up back onto the lead lap. So that's unfortunate. We'll keep an eye on that, as everybody's just streaming past him at the moment as he's still getting up to speed. But he's rejoined. He's got 4 new tires. He's got some fuel. So getting back to what we were going to talk about before, Sean, the strategy. 100 laps, you can get 42 laps or so out of a tank full of fuel here, I believe. So we're looking at possibly 2 pit stops, Sean.
Possibly. You're gonna need the fuel. Tires, you can probably run this whole thing on 4 if you take care of them, and just depending on where the cautions fall, I mean you can maybe make it on 1 stop, but I think most everybody's going to come in at the first yellow. I think that's going to be the right strategy to play, except for maybe some of these guys that have fallen all the way to the back and want to try and get some position and hope for another caution to come out quickly. But so far, we've seen them settle in and race pretty hard here without incident.
Yeah, that's 9 laps into the race now, Etten. And
we got him spinning on the front stretch.
Go ahead.
Spinning in the tri-oval.
Who was that? Can you see who that was?
I cannot. I lost it. Hang on.
Was that Guy Slackmulders?
I believe it was Guy Slackmulders that had the problem. In fact, yes, I can see now Guy Slackmulders is in pit stall, as well as Eric Mulder. So they were definitely involved in that one. And we have a caution, folks. The first caution has come out. The yellow flag has flown because of that incident. And we're getting a replay from our director on that one. So just as we spoke, Sean, we get a caution.
Yeah, it looks like Keys is going to get a shot here to get a lucky dog, as he was the first car a lap down.
Yep, well, it was too good to be true, wasn't it, to go all those laps without a caution. And I do note that Johan Sommers, he must be taking a tow, or he's got problems, because he's showing as not being out of the car, not being part of the race anymore. And we also have Bram van der Stickelen and a few others heading into the pits. Bram van der Stickelen, so these guys, they sound like family with the same name. They must be partners. They have pitted together. That might be a strategy move, Sean.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is. I'm not so sure that first incident actually brought up the flag, because they were off the track. I'm wondering if Johan Sommers somehow, I don't know, we got to go back and look at the replay, but maybe that's what brought out the flag. I'm not really sure.
Okay, now, folks, we have got an in-car reporter here in Roy Visser. So, Roy, can you hear us?
Good.
And we've got Roy in the booth with us now. Roy, how's it going?
Oh, easy. Nice and gentle. Going to the pit road now.
Gentle.
Yeah,
I do love your reports. We see that a whole bunch of you guys are all heading into the pits now. Obviously, a little early for the very, very first caution of this race.
Well, I expected it sooner, to be honest. But,
Really? So 10 laps you think is a really good going without a caution?
no, for Daytona, for what I've experienced before, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. All right. So you are part of a team, Roy. Tell us about what you guys are thinking about in strategy. You can tell us.
Our strategy is pretty simple. We're aiming to push Jarno as much to the front as possible. But in the first couple of laps, we will be me and Dennis will be working together mostly and make sure Jarno is in front of us and not behind us.
Okay. So look, it's a long race, 100 laps. So there's going to be a lot of time for everyone to work their strategies out. We're only on lap 11. The cautions are meaning, of course, that everyone can save some fuel. Do you think you'll be able to make it possibly on one fuel stop?
Well, we all tanked now, so we're not definitely not gonna make it on this tank. But I've got a nice sheet here next to me, and from lap 50 or so, if we got another couple of cautions, we should be able to make it on a full tank.
Very
Normally,
interesting. So, sorry,
normally
go
the
ahead.
car would use 43 liters for the or 70 liters for the last 43 laps, but I think we'll have another caution, so it will be good to see how everybody is going to attack that, fuel saving
Okay.
or not.
All right. Well, Roy, thanks for talking to us. We'll come back to you from time to time if that's okay with you.
Yeah, perfect.
Right now, we are under pace laps. We'll go back to the race now as we see that Fabian de Jong and Maxime Ramstein are in the lead of this race. Ayrton?
Yeah, a lot of the front runners actually pitted, and Rudy DeVitt, who was in first, is now in 14th. So we've got a lot of the guys who are outside the top 10, outside the top 20 that are in the upper half of this race now.
Yep, and the lights are still on the pace car. On a big track like this, I've seen it myself in running some races here. The pace laps can take a pretty long time, Ayrton.
Yeah, especially on a long track like this, it can take a while, but it gives plenty of these guys time to rest and think about their strategy.
Yeah. So Fabian de Jong now in the lead of this race. I remember Sean from the last race. Fabian de Jong was anything but happy about his race over at Darlington.
Yeah, he wasn't a very happy camper after the race. I think he felt like he had a car that could win, and he was quite disappointed with his finish. So far he's off to a much better start, and I don't know, maybe he'll be a car to beat here at the end.
Yeah, well, he's been a contender in all of the races, as has some of these guys. Jano Panakit was in there at Darlington. Neil Heckens has been in both of the previous races. Neil Heckens has featured in the finish, or at least in the lead up to the finish. Rudy de Wit, the fast guy, has had two quite miserable races, Sean.
Yeah, Rudy hasn't had a lot of luck. I don't know what to say about it, but sometimes it's just not your day, and so far it really just hasn't been his season. Um, Maybe he's just been it's just not been this transition to oval track racing just hasn't been a good fit for him. I don't know.
Well, he's certainly been fast, so we hope that he can show his stuff here tonight and give us a great showing. Now, Ayrton, one thing we haven't spoken about is the fact that this is actually a night race, and that does affect the speeds of the car and also the longevity of the tires and all that sort of stuff. Just tell us a little bit about your experience there.
Well, definitely the cars go a lot faster because it's cooler conditions in the night, so it'll be seeing a lot higher speeds and probably more dangerous racing as well. You got less time to react in certain situations, and the bump drafting is going to be more difficult as well. And it's also a little more difficult to see as well a little bit. Just it's dark and all because it's nighttime, right? So we got one lap to green. These guys are side by side at the moment.
Yeah, and that's we should explain that, Sean, how it actually works on restart. That when it's one lap to green, they have to pair up again.
Yeah, that's right. They double file restarts in NASCAR, and you know, I don't know, the low line, the high line. Which one do you want to be in? Daytona. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that car behind you and how well they work with you. You want a good partner, as we've continued to talk about, because the draft is so important. You don't want to get left behind because you will fall back quickly. But as we saw already, you have a chance to get back up there, as Keys Yelkins did, if the guys in front of you are having a little bit of trouble mixing it up.
Well, the lights are out on the pace car, and that means that we will go back to green flag racing as they pass the start-finish line. Our top four guys at the moment: Fabian de Jong, technically in first place. Next to him, Maxime Ramstein. The pace car has just taken off. Over to you, Etten.
Yep, Fabian John leading them away, and instantly Joey Schmeek is pushing Freddie Bessems on the outside. Maxim Reinstein hasn't connected with Fabian Dejean, so Dejean might get past going into turn one on the outside.
Well, that's fantastic racing. They got an early run, and now they've moved into first and second place. And the guys were caught out a little bit there on the low line, a little bit asleep there, Sean.
Yeah, looks like they were. There's some interesting racing going on here at the back of the pack. We could see another caution flag pretty quick if they keep it up. We had 3 wide there, and currently everybody's bunching up and trying to jockey for position, and a little bit of bump drafting in the corner, and that's what you don't want to see, because that could get someone really loose and in trouble. The 26 taking a shot in the corner.
Well, when you are talking about these guys, give us a name so we can jump in and have a look at these guys, Sean. Right now, it looks like the front two have checked out a little bit. Joey Smith, Fabian de Jong, Ayrton, they've got a break on the 5th and 6th place, and in front of them, Maxime Ramstein and Freddie Beersems. On the outside a little bit there, trying to catch up. Freddie Beersems now on the inside, and in front of him we've got Fabian de Jong. So these two guys, they are just doing a great job at the moment.
Yeah, I think Joey Schmidt's strategy was to push Maxim Reinstein on the outside so he can get into his slot to work with Fabian de Jong, since they are teammates and it's working out okay. They've already gotten 8/10 of a second lead. They're switching places in turn one at the moment so they don't overheat their engines. It looks like these guys are good to go to try to get a little lead ahead of these guys, but they do have the pair of Freddie Bessems and Jarno Panicky right behind.
Yeah, and these guys are now getting into their rhythm. Sean, just tell us a little bit about this switching caper. Cars have to switch so that they don't overheat the cars, and tell us a little bit about how that works.
Well, yeah, you're only going to get about 2 to 3 laps in a tandem, 2.5 to 3 laps in a tandem like that, and you're going to get hot, and you get that motor too hot. You need some fresh air. So you better be working with that guy via mic or chat or whatever, so that you guys can pull a switch. Best place to switch is generally going into the turn and then through the turn. And that switch is crucial. If you can't pull that off, you're going to drop like a rock through the field. And if you don't do the switch at all, you're going to overheat and blow the motor. And that you certainly don't want that, because then your race is over.
That's correct. So, yeah, we're giving some good information to the viewers who may not be that familiar with racing on super speedways, which it is quite different from racing on a shorter oval track.
Yeah, it's not about really who's the fastest anymore. It's a lot.
We got one spinning here. We got one spinning coming into the pit lane.
And looks like we have another caution flag. So everybody slowing down. Who was that spun there, Sean?
That was W. Rensenbrink, actually, that spun. Did it pretty much on his own. Looked like he lost it a little bit coming off the turn. The number 44 of W. Rensenbrink spun coming off the turn. Looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage too.
Yeah, we are getting a replay on that so we can see what happened there. As we see the pace car rushing to the front of the field. But talk us through that. What happened?
Uh, well, I'm sorry, I missed the cue there. I'm sorry about that, Richard. It looked like he got loose coming off the turn, and then just he tried to save it, couldn't correct it, and then started to spin down towards the infield just before pit lane there.
Well, that's brought out the second caution, which is quite interesting because the first caution was on lap number 9. The second caution, it took a lot shorter number of laps for the second caution to come out. So, cautions breeding cautions, Ayrton?
Yeah, maybe, but I haven't really noticed both of these incidents have to me sounded like a very few amount of cars involved. There haven't really been any huge wrecks that were a result of large packs, so I don't feel like it's really caution spreading caution. It's just the nature of a caution every now and then.
Yeah, and bear in mind, I think Sean mentioned that some of these guys are not that experienced in doing oval races, and particularly this is their very first super speedway race. So guys are working things out, and we're only on lap number 19, 80 laps to go still. In fact, 81 laps to go. So quite a long time for these guys to work things out there, Sean.
Yeah, definitely time to work things out. There's still plenty of strategy that can be played out. Looking at the Rensenbrink accident again, honestly, he didn't really get loose. He had a heck of a run coming off the turn, got it, and just nicked someone right beside him, and then just lost it, went into that spin, and got a little bit of front end damage there. But I think he's going to be fine. And currently, looks like we're only going to have one car a lap down. So this field is still competitive and ready to race.
Okay, and we're now on lap number 19. Joey Smith and Fabian de Jong, the lead pair. We might ask our director to take us on a short break while they do some pace laps. Welcome back, folks, to the UGX Simulators 250, and we are on a restart, very close to the restart now. The lights are out on the pace car. We had an incident which brought about these pace laps, and everybody is now itching to get going again. They're going up the back straight. Our leader at the moment, Ayrton, Joey Smith, and Fabian de Jong, who've shown some very good pace here today.
Yeah, I'm expecting them at the restart, Joey Schmidt, to try to get a little lead to let Fabian Dijon just slot in behind so that they can run away together. Sorting out too wide action is probably going to slow them down and allow someone behind to get ahead. So I think they're just going to think strategic, and Fabian Dijon is actually just holding back a little bit just to look for that little opening right behind at the moment.
Yeah, and just behind them, Jano Panakit and Kun Gerard. So there's a third pair, Rudy de Wit and Neil Heckens in 5th and 6th place. So it's going to be really interesting as the pace car is getting ready, Ayrton, to duck off, and we'll have the restart to this race on lap 21.
Yep, the pace car is heading into pit lane right now as Joey Schmidt accelerates with Fabian Dijon slotting in right behind as I predicted, and it looks like they're going to work together. Right behind them is Jarno Peneke. He has no teammates around him, but Kuhn, Gerards, and Neil Heckens, those teammates are going to plan to start working together pretty soon behind them.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Rudy de Wit, who is on the outside. Just in front of him, we have, looks like Kun Gerards. So they may be working together, the 4 car of Kun Gerards and the 27 car of Rudy de Wit, to try and get a break on the field as they slot in now. Single file, everybody goes down to the low line, and very interesting restart with 1 car in 3rd place out there on his own, Ayrton.
Yep, that's Jarno Paneke. He has no teammate to work with at the moment, and behind them they're already pairs, so he might end up falling back quite a bit without having a partner. His closest teammates are Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison, who are all the way down in 11th and 12th, so he might be in some trouble. But right now, Neil Heckens is pushing him a little bit, so he might have found someone.
Yeah, it looks like Neil Heckens has slotted in behind Jano, and the two of them working together now to try and catch up to the front pair. But let's go to Sean. Sean, what have you been watching as we speak about the front runners?
Well, I'm here in the back of the pack right now, and I'm watching a couple of teammates here, a couple of racing lions, trying to get back together. Denny Rates and Robert DeRouge are just about hooked up again. They've got Drew Nursom in the middle. They got the sandwich there, and there he goes. There goes Robert DeRouge making a duck to the inside. They tuck in behind Denny, and looks like those two are going to work together and make their way back to the front of this pack.
Yeah, they're a long way behind, it seems. In 35th place is Robert DeRoy. But lots of time, as we see, Robert had to just check up there because everyone checked up in front of him, and he's lost a little bit of time, and he's by himself at the moment. Just passing him now, the 43 car of Bob van Katwijk. So it looks like these guys in the rear here have a lot of work to do to catch up with the front pack who are already going through NASCAR 4. Sean?
Yeah, it looked like we had a little argy-bargy going on there going into turn 1. It was pretty tricky.
Yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at what is happening up the front with Ayrton. Go ahead, Ayrton.
Well, we do have some too wide action. Jarno Paneke got into the lead, but now Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmidt are working together on the outside. And once again, they aren't quite clear yet, but behind them is also Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison, who were farther back in the pack earlier on, but they've managed to get back up as Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmidt managed to get the pass on the outside and slot back into the lead.
Yeah, looks like Fabian de Jong and Joey Smith, they have got a partnership working, and they're using it to good effect here. Just behind them, Jano Panakit, still kind of not totally partnered up with Neil Hickens because he's got a little break on Neil, but that is of no consequence because it's quite easy for Neil to catch up. And these four guys have definitely got a bit of a lead there, but Kungarat's just behind them. So anybody's race at this point in time, still a long way to go, but settling in nicely again, all single file and all working together as they break out now to the outside. Ayrton, we have somebody going, is that Jano going way out wide there?
No, that's Fabian Dijon. He and Joey Schmidt are doing their switch. They've been pushing a lot, so they've been having to switch quite often. They did it a couple laps ago, and they've done it again. So that makes Jarno Panicky have to jump to lead. It's quite interesting to see how some drivers they do a lot of bump draft and have to switch more often, while others they hang back and don't push as much, so they don't have to switch as often and give out positions by doing that.
Yeah, and I do notice just in front of them, Ayrton, there's a back marker. So he could play a part in the proceedings in a matter of seconds as they mow him down coming up the back straight. And let's hope that he stays out of the way because things could turn nasty if he does the wrong thing.
Yeah, back markers on this track is always quite difficult, but it looks like you just stand on the outside.
The 07 is in the wall. Coming down across the track, several cars involved.
Well, that'll bring out a caution for sure, and that is not what we want to see. We're getting a replay of that. Just as we spoke about these front runners passing the back marker, we had a huge spill in the middle of the pack. So tell us about that, Sean.
Yeah, Guy Slackmiller's trying to make it 3 wide and just it did not work out at all. He went off the wall, bounced off the wall, came back across the track and collected a few cars with him as he was coming back across the track. Very unfortunate for several guys.
Well, that is certainly not what you want to see. This is caution number 3 now. I'm going to make a note of how many cautions we get today. So this is the 3rd caution in 30 laps. So seems like in every 10 laps there's a caution. Not what we want to see, Ethan.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of action up at the front as well, but right before that caution came. So I think these guys are getting a little impatient, but these cautions could be a little beneficial because there are about half the field has not pitted. The other half did pit in the first caution, but a good amount of them have not pitted as we are heading on to lap 30, so 70 laps to go.
Yeah, 70 laps. We keep saying it's a long race, but some of these guys are getting anxious to improve their position, and it's causing problems. And you know, it's affecting the race definitely. We love to see nice, clean green flag racing, but we're not getting that at the moment, Sean.
No, and I hate to say it, but looks like it's the inexperience of some of these guys at the back. It's really kind of slowing things down for us right now. Just a really bad move by Guy. He tried to make it 3 wide, and it just was not the time to make it 3 wide. And he hit the wall awful hard. I don't know that I don't know if he's taken a reset yet or not, but he's certainly going to need one after that because that car is just mangled.
Yeah, we see a whole bunch of guys, as Ayrton mentioned, getting into the pits now to take on fuel at least. While these guys are pitting, Sean, I just want to talk about tires for a moment. We made a brief mention that tires are not really a factor on a long track like this. Is that correct?
Not really. No. There's because of the banking, you don't see the amount of friction that you would on a flat track. These cars are pretty light on their feet, if you will, as they go through this track. They're carrying so much speed, and they don't have as much downforce as they would have on a shorter track. But yeah, so the need for tires, even the right side tires, it's just not a lot of wear. Daytona has a really nice surface. So your wear factor is not going to be near as bad on let's say a track that doesn't have a surface that's been recently repaved. But yeah, so your tires, on a caution flag like this, it doesn't matter. Take 4, don't take 4. It really, I don't think you're going to see much strategic advantage. Longer runs, then obviously you may want to consider changing those right side tires, as those are the ones that are taking most of the wear during the race.
Yeah, well said, Sean. So yeah, most of the guys probably during a caution will take a new set of tires because it's not going to harm their chances in the race at all to take some fresh tires. But certainly, I would imagine in the first 50 laps or so, really pointless to take fresh tires. But we do have Roy Visser, our in-car reporter for this UGX Simulators 250 with us again. Roy, too many cautions.
Yeah, that's this is a bit too much. It's causing a bit of hectic in the field, but you can. We've been driving through the field a little bit, me and Dennis, so we're definitely noticing a big difference in speed between the front pack and the middle pack and the back pack.
Yeah, there's most of the action at the front has been pretty clean, and guys are racing nicely and in pairs with their partners. But the action that's causing all the cautions are around the mid pack or at the rear.
Yeah, that's what we've been noticing as well.
Yep. So all good on your side. Your car going well.
Yeah, the car is running fine. Me and Dennis seem to be able to find each other pretty easily and to move up to the front pack every time. So that's what we're going to do now as well. Jarno is a little bit more to the front. We have Jeroen with us now as well, so it's going to be a little bit more easy at the restart, with Jeroen being a buffer and all. And then hopefully we can split up the racing lines in front of us and move up to the front, or even work together with them.
Yeah. Now, Roy, we were just talking a little bit about tires and tire wear. What's your tire strategy or your team's tire strategy here?
Well, we're not gonna replace them. Dennis made a fault in the first pit to change them, but it's on the super speedway you don't need fresh tires, so it's only fuel, and we've changed some spring settings to make the car a little bit more faster on a little bit more rake, so the car will probably go 50 thousandths faster a lap or so if we need it.
Well, those 50 thousandths of a that extra speed all count in the end when you're chasing. If you're near the front and you trying to get position, that will certainly help. But let's confirm what we were talking about with tires, that it's really not a factor on these super speedways. So, Roy, we'll let you go, and thank you once again for talking to us. It's great to get this, a driver's viewpoint of what is happening in the race. So, best of luck, and we'll come back to you at a later time.
Yeah, perfect.
So now, Ayrton, we have got our fourth restart with 3 cautions. So 4th start technically in this race. So things are starting to probably get anxious now. If you're a driver in a race like this, a long race, and these cautions keep coming up, what are you thinking about?
Well, I think I would probably be pretty bored, to be honest. Yeah, these guys in the front have been racing fairly clean. It seems like most of the accidents have been in mid pack and back markers. So I would be quite trusting of the guys in the front here. They seem to be very good racers around here. But just focus on not falling back and getting into that mid pack, as the team of Dennis Garrison, Roy Visser, and Jeroen, they're all together back there, so it might be a little dangerous that they're trying to catch up.
Yep, and we do see that the pace car, the lights are out on the pace car, which means that on this next time by, we are going to get a restart. So the once again, the heart rate starts to go up in these drivers. Joey Smith, Fabian de Jong leading this race at the moment. Neil Heckens and Koen Geratz, who we saw were partnering up, they are in 3rd and 4th place. Tim Vayen has joined them with Rudy de Wit, who's having a great race as the pace car ducks off Ayrton.
Yep, Joey Schmidt just shot to the outside to let Fabian DeJean in the draft. They're already hooked up together as we see Rudy de Wit and Koen Gerhardt together, as well as Neil Heckens and Tim Wyatt are connected as well. These guys are getting together with their pairs very quickly and already are getting to the draft. The leaders didn't get quite of a jump as they had in previous restarts, though.
Yeah, that's right. The second pairing were onto them straight away. As we see Koen Gerhardt now, the car number 4 from the Racing Lions team. He's just struggling a little bit to get up front with his partner, which I believe is or was Neil Heckens. But you know, these guys may change partners during the race. There's no rule that says you must stick with the same partner.
No, as we were seeing Neil Heckens working with Jarno Pennekeep earlier in previous restarts, so these guys might switch around, just trying to maybe some selfish or treacherous play in the teams. I'm not sure, but they are switching around a little bit, not sticking to their partners.
Guys, looks like Pascal Dukers was the victim of a black flag coming in to serve his penalty now.
Yep, we see that Pascal is in the pits for Guy Slackmild is also in the pits. That is not a scheduled pit stop, so something must have happened to Guy Slackmild as well, Sean.
Yeah, it looks like they were passing before the line, Richard, and that'll get you a black flag in NASCAR.
That's correct, and we'll talk about those rules in a little while. But right now we've got some great action in the front of the pack here, Ayrton. So let's go back to the front where we still have Joey Smith, Fabian de Jong leading.
Yep, and they're making a switch right now, so that's going to give Neil Heckens a run on the inside. With him behind him is actually Tim Weiner, who we haven't seen much of, but they're working together at the moment on the inside as Joey Smeet and Fabian DeJean slap back on the outside. They got Rudy de Wit right behind, who doesn't really have a partner. He's just sitting behind on his own with this pack, and charging behind them is also the 29 and 27 car of Jarno Pannekeet and Stephen Van Helsdingen.
Yeah, talk about a fifth wheel. He's now slotted onto the back of the second pairing of de Jong and Schmid, but I'm not quite sure what his strategy is. Maybe he just lost his partner, but still doing quite a good job as he does a little bit of side drafting, squeezing the guys down on the apron there. Just behind him, Stephen Van Helsdingen now passes him. He can't keep this up, Ayrton, without a partner. He's going to be falling back all the time.
Yeah, and just to mention, Jarno Pannekeet started the restart in 14th place, and he's already up to 7th as he's working with Stephen Van Helsdingen, who we haven't seen much of recently. And we're just seeing Rudy de Wit connecting with Tim Wine as well. So now Neil Heckens in 3rd place is on his own.
Hey
yeah,
guys,
ahead,
just real quickly, Bob Van Katwijk, I don't know how much longer he's going to have his car on the track, but he's only turning about 160 to 165 miles an hour, and he's got really bad front end damage back there. He could be in the way here pretty quick.
Yeah, and I just saw some smoke coming off the tires there of one of the cars in the lead pack. That happens when you get a push in the corner and you're not expecting it, and your car does a little bit of a take two, so to speak, and that's not what you want to see. That's very risky. He's pushing in some of these corners, Ayrton.
Yeah, a little dangerous, and we also see Neil Heckens is falling back a little bit. He's losing the draft. He's dropping back slightly a little bit as his teammate Koen Gerhardt is about a second behind. They are not close together, and Koen Gerhardt is in the same situation. He's dropping back from the pack that he's in, but he has no partner to work with.
Yeah, and now we see a few names that we haven't called before in this race getting up close to the front here. I'm just watching Henk Arendse, and just behind him, there's Koen Gerhardt behind him, but just in front of Henk Arendse, we've got Kevin Wekemans. So these guys working just by themselves now, although looks like the number 4 car has picked up the 7 car, and we've got Henk Arendse still on the outside there by himself, as we see a few cars passing, and they are trying to catch up to the lead pack, but Henk Aronson, he's made an unfortunate choice to stay on the outside, and everyone's just passing him there, Etienne.
Yeah, and in this group is the man who we've been talking to, Roy Visser, and his teammate Dennis Garrison. They've been working together to gradually gain up the pack as their teammate Jarno Panicky is in the lead pack. I think they're just wanting to get up there so they can work with him. They haven't really connected since the beginning of the race.
Yeah, and Roy's got his partner Dennis Garrison right behind him, so these guys have stuck together throughout the race. They're doing a great job, as is the Fabian de Jong really and Joey Smith. These guys have been the standout pair so far, Etienne.
Yeah, as we actually see those guys got a little bit of a lead. They're actually making a tandem switch in turn 1 right now. We're seeing Stephen Van Helsden and Jarno Panicky going on the inside. They're going to inherit the lead. And I think this is the first time that Stephen Van Helsden is going to be the #1 driver.
Yeah, good move from them there, but you know, things do change up a little bit when you have the switch. Now, I do notice, Etienne, there's again a slower car in front of them. Last time there was a slower car, even though he did not cause a caution. Everybody around in the mid-pack started to have some problems as we see the guys passing them. Gosh, it's a shame to see a guy out there by himself. You get passed as if you're standing still.
Yeah,
that's Bob Van Catvike, guys, we were talking about before, but I saw he messaged all them on the radio, let them know he was going to move up into the high line, so looks like he's trying to take care of his fellow drivers out there.
Well, Sean, I just want to get back to one thing. We mentioned Guy Slackmalders in the pits. I see that he's still in the pits, and I've got the cameras on him right now, and it looks to me like his car is really badly damaged, so he must have a huge amount of repair time.
Yeah, his car was mangled. I mean, it was after that hit to the wall and then getting hit by another car. He was walking. He was crab walking. The car was literally walking sideways into the pit lane. He has very bad structural damage. In fact, I don't know that the car will ever be right again once it gets back on the track. I guess he can just keep trying, though. They are racing for points. Every point is critical.
Yeah, that's correct. Well, we hope he gets back into the race. Just mention, folks, that we now have 4 drivers who are showing as being out of this race, at least for the moment. Robert Witt is out. Johan Sommers exited quite early, but now they're joined by Nano van der Poel and also Rensenbrink, who was part of that earlier incident. 4 guys out of this race. Guy Slackmalders might join them as being out of the race. But going back to the front now, Ayrton, the action seems to be pretty hot up there. These guys are nose to tail, about 6 or 7 cars nose to tail.
Yeah, we do have an interesting situation here. The number 96 car of Pascal Dukers, he's in 34th place, but he's in this lead pack. He's been pushing Tim Wyan for these previous laps and have been working with him, but he's not battling with these guys. He seems just to be helping out at the moment, but he's very far in the pack.
Yeah, and that's we should talk about that. That's quite interesting. The fact that you might be a back marker, it does not mean that if you pick up a partner that you can't be part of the lead pack, and hopefully by staying up there and running with the lead pack, a caution may come out and you may get an opportunity to pick up your lap and get back into the race. But everybody's doing their switch. We see someone down on the apron. We'll get back to him. But definitely some good racing up the front right here. And we see guys going to the outside there, Ayrton, attempting a pass and doing it quite nicely.
Yep, that is, that it will be.
Looks
that
like
is Pascal Dukers. He is now not a lap down anymore since he's ahead, but he's got Rudy DeVitt, who's actually pretty much in the lead of this race now.
Yeah,
guys,
Rudy DeVitt.
Guys,
Go ahead, Sean.
The number 72 of Richard Cortland, very bad damage on the front end. He's got that thing on the apron and out of everybody's way right now. In fact, he's going all the way down on the apron. Looks like he's bringing her into pit lane for some work.
Yep, so that's Richard Cortland with the car down the apron. But I want to get back to this very interesting situation here, Ayrton. So Pascal Dukers, he is kind of leading everybody, but of course he's not leading the race. In fact, Rudy de Wit is leading the race. As we see Rudy just pull out of the draft there and allow a Fabian de Jong to get on the back of this Pascal Ducas. So what's happening there, Sean? Ayrton, sorry?
My only guess would be that Rudy de Wit is trying to split the teammates of Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmid. He's right in between those two now, so they can't exactly work together anymore as they're passing a lap car. Staying on the inside, normally the lap cars go to the outside, so that might cause a few dodging maneuvers in the mid-pack, but definitely an interesting scenario for this Pascal Ducas. If a caution came out now, he would get a free lap back, which would be very beneficial for him.
Absolutely. And now we do see, I just want to talk about that car that was on the low line there. That is not the done thing. There's no rule specifically about it, Sean, but normally, as Ayrton said, you go to the outside when you see the fast guys coming through.
Yeah, normally you do. And Cortland's coming back up on the track now, trying to get back up to speed. Yeah, I think he knew he had a problem, and he just decided to keep it down on the apron because he couldn't carry any speed through the turn. That was probably the wise move to make.
Yeah. Well, folks, let me say that the race is now 47 laps old. Let's just give the viewers a rundown on where we are and who's leading. Ayrton?
Well, in first place, bump draft in a lap car is Fabian de Jong. In second, it's Rudy de Wit, then Joey Schmid, Jarno Pannekiet, Stephen Van Helsdenen in fifth, Neil Heckens in sixth, Dennis Garrison in seventh, Roy Visser in eighth, Tim Wyan in ninth, and Kevin Beckman in 10th.
Yeah, and that's your top 10. And I must say these guys have been doing consistently a great job, particularly Fabian, who has always been close or in the lead of this race. Rudy de Wit having a great race. If you remember back on the previous two races, he did not have a good showing at all. And somebody who's really done extremely well here today is Joey Schmid as well. So, Sean, what are you looking at the moment, my friend?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm kind of looking at Pascal de Burke and Joost van der Stoep right now working together and trying to make their way up from being about 14, 15 seconds off the lead pack. They're trying to do it together, and they're making up a little bit of ground, but not too quickly. But hey, while we're here, we asked a trivia question earlier in this race, the UGX Race Simulators 250, about who won the very first Daytona 500. And our answer is the great Lee Petty, patriarch of the famous Petty family.
Excellent stuff. And of course, the Petty name is no stranger to oval racing at all. They are a great family racing. And tell us a little bit about them there, Sean. Go ahead.
Well, Lee Petty started racing in the 40s, and it was there in the infancy of NASCAR. His son Richard went on to be a 7-time NASCAR champion, tied only with the great Dale Earnhardt. Son of Richard Petty, Kyle, I believe won 4 NASCAR races. Not quite as successful, but has become a great success in the broadcast booth. And of course, unfortunately, the family has a bit of tragedy involved there, as well as Kyle's young son, a rising star in the NASCAR scene, was killed in a practice accident in the I believe it was in the late 90s. The early 2000s. Don't remember the date exactly, but a lot of history. Probably one of the winningest families in the history of all of auto racing.
And thanks for that, Sean. You've got a great store of interesting information for the viewers with your knowledge of these oval races. Now, the Petty families, I think they still run a race team, don't they?
Yes, Petty Enterprises still is afloat, and this year, Eric Almirola is running the famous number 43 that Richard Petty made famous.
All right, well, back to the racing. Thank you for that. It's very interesting to me anyway to hear all these facts coming out from Sean's brain there. He's a student of oval racing, but we do have a race on our hands here. So back to you, Ayrton. What is happening up the front?
Well, the lead pack just went by a couple lap cars, and that spiced things up a little bit. Jarno Panicky in the number 27 car tried to go along the middle lane, going 3 wide, almost got to the lead, but didn't have anyone to work with him, so he slotted back in 6th place at the moment, while they still have this lap car of Pascal Dukers in 1st. Well, not really in 1st, but in the front.
Yeah, so now Pascal Dukers, he's in a good position, as you said earlier, to pick up his lap and get back on the lead lap, but he's got Rudy de Wit working with him, which we saw Rudy de Wit being won out several times during this race without a partner, which is quite strange because he is part of a team, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the team with Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmidt and Pascal de Burg, who I'm not sure we've seen near the front recently, but I think he is working with Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmidt, who are in 2nd and 3rd. They've been switching around, bump drafting with this lap car of Pascal Dukers. So I think they've just been working together. There's a little break between them now. I think they're just holding the lead at the moment. No one's really challenging them, knowing that they're a 3-man team.
Yeah, and let's put the cameras now on Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison. These guys are sitting in 7th and 8th place at the moment. I think these guys are looking extremely good as they're working in their partnership and they're getting to know each other pretty well. Instead of switching partners here and there, they've stayed with the same two, and they are definitely a part of this lead pack right now. And in fact, they look to be the fastest two at the moment as we see them go to the outside. Dennis Garrison, Roy Visser follows him to the outside. Ayrton, these guys are doing a great job.
Yep, and they finally caught up to their teammate Jarno Panicky, who's been working on his own, really, with just switching partners constantly. At the moment, he's partnered up with Steven Van Helsden, who's been part of this pack for a little bit. But Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser still working the top lane, which a lot of drivers really haven't been using that much, except for the drivers of Fabian Dijon and Joey Schmidt. No one's really experimented it with it that much. A lot of single file driving as they're going to do a swap. Roy Visser's going to go into the inside, making it 3 wide for a small moment as Dennis Garrison tries pushing him.
Yes, you do need a lot of confidence to be able to do what we just saw there, folks. That was a switch in lanes 2 and 3. Technically, there's not 3 lanes on this track, Sean, but we have seen occasions where guys have gone 3 wide. Not the wisest move at these sorts of speeds.
No, it's really not. And it looks like the leaders, they're finding traffic, and they're about to come up on W.J. Vandenbrand here next. They've got him in his sights, and it'll be curious to see the way they've been bunching up at the turn there. It's be curious to see what W.J. is going to do, whether he's going to stay in the middle of the track, go low, go high. Only they know, or at least we hope they do.
Well, I got to say, Dennis Garrison, we spoke about them, and Roy Visser. Now, Ayrton making a challenge for the lead of this race.
Yep, they're going on the outside and got just a nose ahead of Rudy de Wit, working the outside line. It's pretty difficult in turn 1, but they got a really nice run across the front stretch. They're still pushing, but Dennis Garrison might have to switch. He's looking to get a little bit of air to cool down that engine, but a nice slot is forming right for them on the inside line at the moment.
Uh-oh, and we have a slower car in the front who doesn't quite know what to do. Wow, he was on the inside and then he switched to the outside just in front of Roy Visser. Roy Visser's now lost his partner there for a moment, and he's got the slower car just in front of him. That was quite a moment there, Ayrton.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit too much hesitation there, and Roy Visser didn't want to hit him, so he just slowed down. They lost a lot of positions, lost their opportunity to run, but Dennis Garrison is now paired up with Jarno Panicky. Roy Visser now might fall back a little bit, though. I don't see anyone behind him that would be able to hook up with him now.
Well, we do have WJ Van der Brand, who was the car that was the back marker that was passed. That is pretty much his only hope if he can hook up with Van der Brand, and Van der Brand can push him back to his partner, which we see from time to time. But that was quite risky there, and definitely not what you want to see. Back markers can play such an important role in all of these races. They can be a help, and they can also be a huge hindrance.
Yeah, and I think the mistake that WJ Vanderbrand made was that he was switching lanes. If he just stayed in one lane, it would have been okay. But we actually do have a spinner in the number 55 car, Eric Teskay, just spun around the turn 1 area. I'm not sure what happened. He actually came out of pit's lane, entered the oval section going to turn 1, and just the switch of the banking just made him spin around.
Well, we see the leaders mixed up with quite a few of the back markers now. Thankfully, Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison have paired up once again, as we see them now go to the outside to overtake a slower car. So they back together. That's great news for them. Sean,
we have leaders are heading into the pits.
What are you seeing?
Ayrton just said that the leaders are heading into the pits right now, and I see them. Yeah, they're going in right now.
All right, go ahead, Ayrton. So the two leaders are pitting.
Yep, Fabian DeJohn, Rudy DeVitt, Joey Schmid, Neil Heckens, all the front runners at that point have headed into the pits, but Jarno Pannekeek, Dennis Garrison, and Roy Visser, or 3 of the guys who pitted on the last caution, have stayed out, so they'll be able to go for another 10-15 laps before they have to pit.
Well, now, this is a really good tactical move. They are on lap 60. Everyone's on lap 60 at the moment in the lead pack. And that means there's 40 laps to go in this race. So, Sean, 40 laps is well within the fuel window of these cars, even if there's no caution.
Yeah, no, they're in the window. I mean, they're to the good now. I mean, they can go all the way to the finish on what they just stopped in for. Unfortunately, they've lost time to the lead pack, but that lead pack's going to have to pit if this stays green.
Well, that's right. And so now this is very interesting, because what it means is if there's no caution, then the guys who have pitted early are in the box seat, so to speak. But if there is a caution, then their strategy goes out the window.
Yeah, so these guys, it's quite a gamble. Interested to see different strategies playing a part in this. And 3 teammates, they must have did some calculating, as Roy Visser said, that he had a piece of paper so he could tell when he was planning on pitting. So these guys are working together on the same pit strategy, so at least they have partners to work with on these pit strategies, as well as Jarno Pannekeek is still working with the driver Pascal Dukers, who has just been hanging around these lead pack drivers the whole race.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out, but that's not a bad move. I mean, you know that you've got enough fuel to go to the end no matter what happens. You're just gambling that it's going to go green to the end. And by the way, Sean, we've seen a lot of green flag laps since the last caution, so fingers crossed this is the way it'll go to the end.
Yeah, well, we're on 40 laps to go here now, so I mean we're in the almost the last third of this race, and things are looking pretty good now. Obviously, the pit stops have spread everybody out, so maybe we avoid the big one during this race. We'll see. The last thing you need here in the closing laps is a big one, and people flipping down the straightaway. In fact, the number of flips at Daytona International Speedway, the record for that is 18 flips by a little-known oval track racer named Maynard Troyer in 1971.
The things that you know. Good stuff there. Good stuff, Sean. Okay, so back to the racing. Dennis Garrison, Roy Visser leading this race. They have a pair in front of them, and that pair is actually going to be very soon lap cars. Ayrton?
Yeah, the driver of Kevin Vekemans, who we actually know from one of the other series on the road side and in the roofs, but he's working with, at the moment, Wim Stockman, who's actually a lap down at the moment, so an interesting situation there as Kevin Vekemans actually goes a lap down. He's going to regain his lap once these guys pit, though.
Well, that's right. And just behind the lead pair, Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison, we've got Jarno Panakid and Joris van der Stoep. Now, we haven't spoken too much about van der Stoep. He is in the 4th position right now. How on earth did that happen?
No, that's actually Jarno Panicky is actually working with Pascal Dukers, who's a lap car. Used Van der Stoep is about 26 seconds back.
Okay, so it seems to me that iRacing is
Guys, we
showing
got
him in
3
4th
wide,
place.
3 wide. Watch out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Kevin Beckerman's into the wall. Spinning hard. Down to the inside.
Back
Back up the track.
Strikes. Okay, so Kevin Beckerman's made a mistake there and he's paying the price right now. He's in the wall. His car is pretty badly damaged. He'll be heading into pit lane. And Van der Stoep, we found out, was in 4th place. We knew that in actual fact, but this changes everything now, Ayrton. Those guys who just pitted took on fuel to go to the end of the race and are somewhere near the rear. The other guys are all going to pit now under caution, which means they get the opportunity, a free opportunity to fill up and go to the end of the race.
Yeah, so this can work in the favor of the teammates of Jarno Panicky, Roy Visser, and Dennis Garrison. So let's see how they do. They're going to drop back a little bit, but there's only 9 guys on the lead lap. So they're going to not drop back too far from the guys that they were battling with before in the lead pack.
Yeah, and I'm just looking once again at Kevin Beckerman's car, Sean. That was unfortunate because he seemed to be completely in control there as he was being passed by Visser and Garrison. And then all of a sudden, what exactly happened there?
Yeah, well, Richard, he got caught in the middle, and it looked like maybe a little side drafting. It sucked him up, and he hit the guy next to him, and then that was it. He got loose and then up into the wall. You know, one thing I noticed there, though, is once he did a really good job of staying on the brake and keeping himself up there by the wall once he came back up, and really avoided some other guys who were coming through and saved their race. So hats off to him. But, yeah, he's got a lot of damage. He's going to have trouble being competitive from here out.
Yeah, well, he's currently a lap down as well, and he won't be getting that lap back because he's not in a position to take advantage of anything at this stage. And with that damage, he's still circulating, but I think honestly that's about as fast as he can go with all that damage right now. So now, Ayrton, the pace car is out. We are back again on a whole number of pace laps, so it might be a good opportunity for us to take a short break and come back with what we hope might be the final stint of green flag racing. Welcome back, folks, to the Global Sim Racing channel and the UGX Simulators 250, where we are on lap number 67. And Ed and I just saw a lucky dog taking place in the form of Wim Stockmans getting the wave by behind the pace car, so he gets a lap back. And right now, they should be on 1 lap to go with a restart imminent. So, not hearing from Ayrton just at the minute. Sean, on this current restart, 30 odd laps to go, what's the strategy? I've heard my spotter say to me at this stage of a race at some point, go like hell is the only strategy left.
Yeah, and that's spot on. You better get in it and go, because the laps are running out, and you know, the lights are off on the pace car. So it's time to go and make your move. Especially if you're in the back of the pack here, you've got to find a way to get to the front and do it without getting caught up in some of the slower cars in front of you. So I hope you have a good partner. You're full of that Sunoco fuel, and you got 4 fresh Goodyears, because it is time to go.
Well, definitely, and 4 guys who are in the position to go and possibly go for the win are 2 teams, Joey Smith and Fabian de Jong. They've been in there all day. We have a restart right now, and Joey Smith on the green takes off. His partner behind him, Fabian de Jong. On the outside, Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser. These are the guys that I was about to say have been featuring up near the front in just about all of the race. Now we get down to the wire, Ayrton, and these guys have to show their stuff.
Yep, meanwhile, Rudy DeVitt and Neil Heckens are on the inside as well. They're starting to have partners, and Jarno Panicky sitting behind, doesn't have a partner at the moment, but he's hoping to stick with the draft of these guys. 30 laps left. We got to crank it up.
Well, that's right, and Roy Visser and Garrison have chosen to stay on the outside. Now they tuck in onto the inside and fall into line, but just in front of them we've got Jarno Panicky. I'm not seeing him with a partner, Ayrton.
Yep, he's sitting on his own, and also Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser drop back a little bit. They might be thinking of trying to get a run instead, or maybe they're just struggling with this bump drafting, but meanwhile, behind them, they've got a large pack catching up to them, led by Joost Van Stoop, who we were talking about before. He's having a good run from starting farther back in the pack in 8th place.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to Sean and Sean, tell us a little bit of what you're seeing, and I just want to have a little chat with our director.
Oh, I see a car in the wall. The 99 is in the wall. In the wall, coming through the turn, got loose and got into another car. That would be Thyman Neighbors, 3 laps down, and it looks like we're back to another yellow flag, guys.
And we're going to get a replay on that incident there. It's Thyman Neighbors, and very unfortunate at this stage of the race to see another caution, which will once again mix things up completely, Evan.
Yep, and it's just going to lessen the number of laps that these guys have a chance to battle it out. Definitely going to tighten things up as well, and those guys, Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser, that did not get a very good start in that restart, are going to have another chance.
Thyman collected several cars there. He clipped the apron, shot him up into the wall, came back across the track. It's the classic scenario here at a super speedway, where you just lose control of it and everybody else pays. That was very, very unfortunate. Car 3 laps down, and guys still in this thing. It looks like the race is maybe over now.
Okay, so guys, we once again have pace laps. I think this might be an opportunity once again. I know we've just had a break, but we will go to another break. There is no action at this point as they fall into line behind the pace car, and we'll come back and hopefully show you the UGX Simulators 250 finish. We'll also try and get some words in with Roy Visser, our in-car reporter, but just a very, very quick break at this point in time.
And we're back at the UGX Race Simulators 250 here at Daytona International Speedway, getting ready to go green. Folks, turn up your PC, your laptop, your sound system. Get ready to do a little something we call crank it up here at the start. The restart with 25 laps to go here today. And we're back, and back to another caution flag here. It looks like the 69 of Wim Stockmans and the 4 of King Garrett's have gotten into an incident here right just before the tri-oval.
Yes, and we welcome back there, folks, to an unfortunate incident right at the start of the restart, so to speak. And we have the 4 car now of Kun Garage. We're watching a replay of an incident he was involved in with Wim Stockmans. Wim Stockman seems to be going okay, but severe damage on the number 4 car. And that has brought out yet another caution. So Ayrton, the end of this race being marred by cautions.
Yeah, and with only 20 laps to go, these guys have really got to knuckle it down because a caution could come out to end the race at any moment. So in those last 5 laps, I'm going to expect these guys to be trying to work any sorts of lines to get up into that lead, because knowing how aggressive and mistake prone a lot of these mid-pack and back mark drivers have been this race. Caution can come out at any time.
Yes, and I think we saw that in one of the previous races where the race did finish under caution. I believe that might have been Michigan, Sean.
It was, yeah, and right there we just had an incident where a car lapped down. Vim Stockman's, I don't know what happened. He just turned left right into him. It's unfortunate. You know, King Garretts was just a bystander there, and he just turned right down into him for really no reason at all. And now we've got looks like a few cars are going to, some of these guys in the back may make an option to pit here, but if you're to the good up front, I'd say hold position and let's get ready to run these last 17 laps or so.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about pitting at this stage of the race. Hopefully everyone has got enough fuel to get to the end right now, and it's definitely go like hell when the pace car ducks into the pits at the next restart. Fabian de Jong and Joey Schmidt are leading this race, as we see Fabian playing some silly buggers, going down onto the apron a little bit, and a couple of guys there. We see a car flashing by, so that guy is the lucky dog, and he will get his lap back. But certainly, Ayrton, it's now go, and I'm just wondering who is in the best position. We know Fabian de Jong and Joey Schmidt are leading. Rudy de Wit and Neil Heckens right behind them. Neil Heckens has featured in every single finish around or about the top 5. So who do you fancy right now?
Well, I think Fabian de Jong and Joey Schmidt have been working like so well for the majority of the race. I think they are the ones to bet on for the end of this race. I haven't really seen any other draft partners that have really had such an impact as they have. We have been seeing Dennis Garrison and Roy Vister. They'll get up to the front pack, and then they just wouldn't be able to do anything with it. They wouldn't be able to get into the lead. So I'm not sure how well they'll do. They are in 6th and 7th, which is a pretty good spot on these lead drivers.
Yep, and 7 cars. Jarno Panakit, of course, is the one out. He has not got a partner, so one would expect him to lose out in the deal here, but he has shown a really good pace and managing without a partner to stick with the lead group. So it is really anybody's race. It depends on what the restart does, and hopefully, Sean, we won't get another yellow flag.
No, hopefully we won't, but just doing a little observing here on the caution flag. I think Joey Schmidt forgot where he was there for a second, and he decided to take a trip through the boot going into turn 3, and probably surprised a few of his fellow drivers behind him there, but that was kind of funny. Certainly not something you want to make a practice of, as it can lead to some chaos on caution laps, but it was funny in that instance.
Yeah, well, yeah, I saw that. I was going to make mention of it. He took a turn around the bus stop and came back on track. The guys behind him moved to the outside in case he made a mistake and got into them. So a little bit of fun happening there from Joey Schmidt. But back to the racing right now. Fabian de Jong behind the pace car. The lights are still on, so that means they've got at least one more lap to go before the restart of this race. Now, we are on lap 82. We can run through the first 20 cars for you to tell you exactly who's where. So, Ayrton, why don't you run us through the first 10?
Yep, in first place leading the pack is Fabian de Jong, then Joey Schmidt in 2nd, Rudy de Wit in 3rd, Neil Heckens in 4th, Jarno Panakit in 5th, Dennis Garrison in 6th, Roy Visser in 7th, Eric Teske in 8th, Marco Hoekstra in 9th, and Pascal de Burg in 10th.
And we've got in 11th place Joost van der Stoep, in 12th place Steven van Helsdingen, in 13th place Freddie Beersems, 14th is Tim Vijen, 15th is Jeroen Ursem, who's come up from way back to be in 15th place, so a really good run from him. In 16th place, we've got Maxim Ramstein, who in the very early stages of the race was up at the front. Kiers Jokums in 17th, Kim van der Stikkelen in 18th, Denny Reitz in 19th, and Koen Gerards, who has been up a lot further near the front, is in 20th place. So that's the top 20, and as it turns out, Sean, those 20 cars are the only ones on the lead lap.
That's correct, yes, sir. Although I see Wim Stockmans has, on my screen here, has gone a lap down. So now, no, I'm sorry. No, you're correct. 20 cars on the lead lap, and those 20 are going to have a mad dash to the finish. This should be really exciting. The lights are out on the pace car, and we're getting ready to roll off here in just a moment.
Well, guys, it's going to be boogity, boogity, boogity once we go to the restart. So, Ayrton, the pace car, they still got a little way to go. They're only on the back stretch heading up to turn number 3. So, not yet a start, but I'm pretty sure that everyone's heart rate is pumping right now. If you are Fabian de Jong, what are you going to do, Ayrton?
I think Fabian Dion is going to try to get an early run at the start, let Joey Schmidt slot in behind like they have been in the previous restarts. So those guys are going to try to get a jump at the beginning of this restart. We just have to see if Rudy DeVitt, Neil Heckens, Jarno Panicky, Dennis Garrison, Roy Visser, if any of those guys can try to follow up. They have to get in a partner quickly. That's the strategy for these restarts.
Well, we are going on board with Joey Smith right now in the 2nd place. He's on the outside. His partner, being Fabian de Jong, is on the inside. Getting ready for a restart, Ayrton. It's go, and they have 17 laps left to do it. Over to you.
Yep, and we see Rudy DeVitt actually hanging back a little bit, waiting to try to get a run on these guys. Fabian de Jong is accelerating, and Neil Heckens getting a little impatient as well, and Joey Schmidt slots to the inside instantly as Neil Heckens slots to the inside as well. These guys have already gone single file, trying to slot in and race to the finish.
And the pack, they're all bunched up at the moment. A whole bunch of cars, almost the whole 20 cars on the lead lap in one long string of cars, all heading towards the inside. And this is it. This is for all the marbles, folks. And right now, the guy in front of everyone is Fabian de Jong. Joey Smith right behind him. It looks like they've got their partnership going. On the outside, Neil Heckens and Jarno Panicky has grabbed hold of Neil Heckens. These guys are inside. They're squeezing the front pair a little bit. Ayrton, this is exciting.
Yep, Jarno Panicky pushing Neil Heckens on the outside. They got a run earlier on Rudy DeVitt past him. They're trying to make a move on this lead. Meanwhile, Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser, they're charging on the outside of Rudy DeVitt as well. And we've got 2 rows of 2 wide. So these guys are all
guys, another
ahead.
wreck. Oh, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean. What's happening?
Yeah, it looks like we had some carnage back here. I'm trying to see who it was.
Well, don't tell me, but I'm afraid this is true. We are going to have another possible caution. Is that the case? Yes, they're all slowing down, so it looks like we have another caution. Now, Eden, this is going to turn into something like a 10-lap sprint race.
Yeah, these guys are going to have about 9-10 laps to go, so it's definitely going to be much more tense than the previous. We already saw a lot of battling in that previous restart. Guys already going too wide, trying to get to the lead. So I think in these last 10 laps, everyone's going to be rushing to the lead, because if another caution comes out in that final restart, it will be pretty close to the end of the race.
Yes, and you know, I would not be surprised at all to see this race ending on a yellow caution flag. I hope that's not the case, but certainly the way everybody, you know, we said it, everyone, they charged up and just ready to hit the go button, and unfortunately some people did not get it right, Sean, and now we have another caution.
Yeah, and it looks like it was Robert DeRouge caught the apron and got into the 96, and it caused just a mess. I mean, that started a barrel roll by both cars as they got hard into the wall and bounced all over the place. And then it's unfortunate that we're, here again, guys here at the back just can't seem to get it under control on these restarts, and it looks like it may wreak some havoc here on the end of the race.
Yeah, well, if you're in the middle of the pack, somewhere around 10th, 11th, 12th place, you've got very little chance to get to the front. You want to get to the front, so it's not surprising to me anyway that these guys are just got their foot flat on the gas pedal and are doing whatever they can to make up a position or two. So this is what we're going to see again on the next restart. So don't be surprised if we have some more fun and games before the end of this race. We hope that's not the case. And how frustrating, Ayrton, mustn't it be for the front runners like Fabian de Jong?
Well, I think Fabian de Jong is probably going to be pretty glad that these cautions are coming out. It just makes it easier on him. He gets to lead more laps, and it's just cutting down the time that he has to lead in order to get this win. He seems to be the one favorable for the win unless anyone else can get a run, but we did see some challenges in that previous restart.
Okay, well, look, it might be a very, very good time right now to talk to our in-car reporter, Roy Visser, who currently sits in 8th place. So, Roy, cautions at the end, cautions at the beginning. What is happening?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm asking around for some information, but I don't know what's happening. It looks so clean in front, and I think it's all happening at the back end with some damaged cars, maybe, or...
Yeah, it was in the mid-pack where the action was taking place. Someone got down on the apron, and with the banking here being 31 degrees, he couldn't get back up and got into a few other cars, and it was quite ugly around the mid-pack. But Roy,
okay.
now... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I would just... no. Ask away.
All right, well, Roy, now you're in 8th place.
Yeah,
your
correct.
partner Dennis Garrison is right with you there, so you guys are in a fairly good position. What are you going to do? You're going to jump to the outside and try and make a run on these guys, or are you going to tuck in and stay with them, or what's the plan?
No, the plan is to go to the high side. We picked up a racing line as well, so Neil is going to run with Jarno, and hopefully we can challenge the front pack, Fabian and Joey and Rudy. We hope Rudy hasn't picked up Eric, seeing Rudy was all alone in the last restart. But we hope to get the high side with 4 of us and maybe challenge the leader.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be pretty exciting. Fabian de Jong has been really strong all race long, along with Joey Smith. Jarno did not have a partner. He lost his partner very early on, but it looks like, just as you said, he's picked up possibly Eric Teske or Eric Tesk. So let's see what happens here. But whatever does happen, it's going to be a fun last. And bear in mind, you guys only have 12 laps left. By the time the pace car goes off, it's going to be something like 10, maybe even 9 laps. So good luck with it, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just gonna floor it, and I'm not going to back off. I'm just gonna keep it to the floor, and hopefully we'll have a nice green finish, instead of all the yellow finishes we had in previous races. But hopefully it will be exciting to watch and to do. It's been very exciting so far.
Oh, it certainly has. I mean, as a commentator, we have had a lot of fun calling, particularly you guys up the front there, and this is going to be no different. Let's hope it finishes on green, and we will wish you luck for the last few laps. Thank you for talking to us all race long. We really did appreciate that. The UGX Simulators 250, Sean, is going to come alive with about 10 laps to go.
Yes, it is, and I agree with Roy. Let's hope we can get a nice green flag finish here. I think if you're several laps down, maybe lay off just a little bit. Let these guys get ahead and let them run. Don't destroy the end of this race by making a foolish move back there because you're trying to gain one spot. I don't know that the difference between 26th and 28th is worth destroying the end of this race at this point. These guys up front, as there's only 20 left on the lead lap, have really worked so hard, and it would be a shame for this race to end under a caution, I think. But let's see how it goes as we're coming into turn 3 and getting ready to go and get this race restarted.
Yes, exactly right. I echo what you just said there, my friend. 20 cars on the lead lap. The next car is 2 laps down, so none of the other 20 are racing for position. Only the top 20. And we see now the guys getting ready for a restart. They're on the back stretch at this point in time. Ayrton, if your heart was pumping on the previous restarts, now that you know it's down to the wire, 10 laps to go, these guys must be doing 200 beats per minute on their heart right now.
Yeah, and I think the person most nervous would have to be Fabian de Jong. He has everything to lose sitting in that first place position, and he has a charging field of 20 cars on the lead lap ready to take him on. So he definitely has quite a bit to worry about.
Yeah, but the good thing is his partner throughout the whole race, Joey Smith, is right there with him. Jarno Panekid is the dark horse here. Is he going to pick up Eric Teskey or not? That is the big question. The other pair of Dennis Garrison and Roy Visser, we heard what Roy had to say. He's going to the high line and he's going to put his foot flat down and not lift at all. So this is going to be terrific in the finish as we see them going. Now the pace car ducks in. Go Ayrton.
Yep, Fabian de Jong gets on the gas and he shoots away. Neil Heckens and Jarno Panekki fall back a little bit as Rudy de Witt follows the leading cars on the inside. They got a very good jump, and now the other guys have to follow behind.
Well, Roy Visser and
here we go. We got him spinning.
Dennis Garrison a touch there. Some action right up there. Sorry, who's talking? Go ahead.
Yeah, Keith Yoakum's got caught up in that. He wasn't the one spinning, but he's certainly the one that got hit. Looks like that's probably going to bring out another caution here, guys.
Well, we said it. The caution has come out. Everyone's slowing down. We said it there, Sean, that it is a high possibility that there would be another caution. And this is really unfortunate because now they still have enough time, Ayrton, to complete this caution, but it's going to be something like 5 laps to go now.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a sprint, and any caution after that will probably end the race. So these guys, I think there should be more caution, not more yellows, but more careful driving in the mid-pack, because there's certainly nothing going wrong in the front. All these accidents are happening in the mid-pack, which is what's causing the problems. So hopefully these guys can just be a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, well, Sean, that was caused by Tim Wyan, and looks like he came across on Van Helstingen. So, this is unfortunate to say the least.
Yeah, it is, and I've watched the replay a couple times now, and Tim just came down on him. Just it looked like he probably tried to get in front of him, but he did it too soon. Made his move too soon, and poor Steven Van Helsdingen had nowhere to go except back, and looked like he caught part of the apron. But Tim's the one that went spinning and collected cars behind him. Keys Yoakum's being one of them. So poor Keys, he's had a pretty difficult race today, and here we are with another caution. Let's just hope we can get these last few laps in under green and finish under green. Too many cautions here.
Okay, well, look, we are going to go to a last break, hopefully, and we'll come back and call the final laps for you, and hopefully it will be under green. Welcome back, folks, to the UGX UGX Simulators 250, where we've seen an unfortunate run of yellow caution flags. We are now on lap 93. The lights are still on the pace car, which means we probably have one lap left to go before the pace car ducks off and we have green flag racing. Fabian de Jong still leading this race, but 5 laps it'll be. It's a sprint race. And Sean, during the break we were talking about an interesting thing to do with switching up, as these cars normally have to do on green flag racing.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point right now, you've got just what looks to be is going to be about 6 laps left in this race. Overheating is not an issue at this point. Suck in behind somebody, get a good draft going as we see the lights out on the pace car now. Find a partner, get a good draft going, push your way to the front, and you're going to want to step out and try and make that move there as you come off of or go into 3 or come off of 4. But somewhere you're going to need to make a move for the finish line if you want a good solid finish here.
Yep, absolutely correct there. Now, Ayrton, so Fabian de Jong, he's led a lot of laps in this race, and his partner Joey Schmidt as well. Now, an interesting thing I just want to think about for a second. What happens, who's going to win if they do, both of them go to the line at the end of this race?
Yeah, that's always the trick. Does a partner go out to the outside and try to pass the guy he's pushing, or are they going to try to work together? My guess is that Smitch is going to be pretty loyal, try to push him, knowing that they have a pack of guys behind them. But if they've got a lead, I wouldn't be surprised if Joey makes a move to the outside and tries to get the win.
Well, that's I guess that's racing. For me, it is normally the partner. If you work with somebody all race long, that is the one that you will allow to win. But it seems to me the first 10 cars are the only ones in this race. It could be anybody's race. They coming around the last corner right now. Is that the last corner, or are they on the back stretch?
This is 3 and 4 right now.
All right, over to you, Ayrton. This is going to be absolutely frantic.
Yep, as all the drivers hanging very far back from the pace car at the moment. Pace car is going to enter the pit entry any moment now. This pace car ducks off, and Fabian de Jong goes right away, and Joey Smits falls in right behind. These guys already a little caught off their cold feet and falling a little bit back, but Rudy DeVitt did get the message, and he's following right behind those two.
And guys, watch Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison. Immediately, Roy Visser goes in front of Dennis. Dennis still on the high side there. He should tuck in behind Roy right now, but that's not happening. So they're losing opportunities right now. So I think they're out of it. Neil Heckens, on the other hand, with his partner, pushing on the outside, Ayrton trying to get to the front right there.
Yep, Jarno Panicky in the number 27 car pushing the 41 car of Neil Heckens on the outside. They've got a little side draft from Rudy DeVitt, and they're going to get a run out of this corner yes, they are. And there's also the behind them, Eric Tessier on the outside as well, trying to get on the outside of this pack. We've got 2 wide throughout the pack now, and these guys are going to be able to get the draft and get a good run through 1 and 2. They're side by side with Joey Smith and Fabian de Jong now.
Well, Fabian de Jong and Joey Smith have the inside line. That means they get a little bit of extra speed going into the corners and coming out of the corners. But on the high side, Neil Heckens, Jarno Panicky making an absolutely desperate move to get to the front. Panicky not quite with Heckens at the moment there, Ayrton. The action is absolutely fierce between these 4.
Yeah, these guys are pushing very hard as Rudy DeVitt is actually falling back a little bit. These guys just can't get the run that they want on this outside line. The inside line just closes the distance that needed so much, but they are side by side. These 4 are getting a little farther away. These guys have got about 4 laps left, and a lot of hard working Jarno Panicki is starting to get some fresh air as Joey Smith starts to go on the inside Fabian DeJean. He needs some air, and Neil Heckens is going to move to the outside to try to make a maneuver.
Yes, and it looks like they, at this point in time, Heckens is leading this race. Just behind him is number 27 partner, pushing as hard as he can. They squeeze each other into the turns to get that side draft. Fabian de Jong, brilliant driving from Fabian. Joey Smith right behind him, pushing as hard as he can. This is a sprint to the finish. Nobody giving any quarter at all here, Sean.
No, not at all. And I'm watching this too. And man, this is exciting. I hope they can keep this up. Really, really close quarters. But hey, my money's on Heckens. Okay, give me Neil Heckens here. I think he's sitting in a great spot to win this race right now.
Well, I tell you what, Fabian de Jong doesn't think so. He has got Joey Smith, who's just dropped a little way back from him. Now he gets back into it. They're on the inside. They have got the preferred line, Ayrton. They take back the lead. Smith pushing as hard as he can. Heckens on the outside with a very good partner in Jarno Panicki. Eric Teskey right in there with them as well. Roy Visser just poking his nose in. It's frantic. It is absolutely insane. They have a slower car in front of them. They all get by safely, hopefully. Ayrton, what is going to happen? Anything can happen right here.
Yep, and Joey Smith going to the outside. They're going to make it 3 wide. Joey Smith in the middle, Neil Heckens on the outside. Joey Smith's going to get a push from the number 55 car of Eric Teskey, and there's a crash!
And it all comes to nothing as we see a caution coming out. We had a major slip up there. I think that was Teskey that was the one that caused the problem there. I'm not quite sure. It all happened in a split second. We'll have to go to the replay to figure out exactly what happened. But this is now the end of the race, unfortunately. Joey Smith in front. Fabian de Jong managed to survive in second place. Rudy de Wit, a big winner out of all of that. But can anybody just tell us exactly what happened there?
Yeah. Teskey come down a little bit to the inside. I'm watching a couple times now here, and he got it.
And we just lost. It looks like we just lost Sean there. Ayrton.
No, I'm sorry. My finger came off the button. Yeah, Teskey got out into Fabian, and it just started a whole chain reaction, and then that was pretty much it. It's really, really unfortunate. What a shame.
Yes, you said it. What a shame. I tell you what, the action was absolutely. My heart was pumping at 200 beats per minute for these guys because they were trying some really risky stuff there, Ayrton.
Yeah, and definitely the lap car that was on the inside on that backstretch definitely made things difficult for these guys. They were trying to switch around, and that made Joey Smith try to make a move, but definitely 3 wide scenario was pretty difficult to do. So some risky plan. I think Joey Smith just tricked Eric Teskey to wanting to go to the inside when there wasn't any room for him because of Fabian DeJean. That caused the accident.
Yeah, and that lap car was Keys Yokums, who we just talked about before. If I'm him, I want to go bury my head in the sand at this point after this one. Head to the beach and bury it in the sand. That was really not good. He should have been on the apron, totally out of the way.
Well, that's right. When it gets down to that sort of time in the race. By the way, folks, the race is over. They are on lap 101, which means they've completed 100 laps. The race is done. The guys are celebrating. We can tell you that unofficially Joey Schmidt has won this race under caution with Fabian de Jong in second place. But Ayrton, what a race.
Yes, definitely those last few laps were very exciting. A lot of side-by-side action, which we haven't seen all race, and we got at the end, which was great.
Right now, we've got to catch our breath here, so we'll go to a break, and then we will come back and give you the full standings, and also we'll talk to some of the drivers.
Yeah, Fabian.
Welcome back, folks, to the UGX Simulators 250, where we just saw a fantastic race, what was going to be a wonderful finish, and unfortunately, we had an accident in the very last lap, and that caused a spill. However, we do have a finish, and we are going to call all the standings for you right now. So, Ayrton, why don't you start us off?
Sure, Richard. Winning the race was Joey Schmidt. In second was Fabian de Jong. Rudy de Witt got third. Then Marco Hoekstra in fourth. Roy Verst in fifth. Pascal de Burk in sixth. Maxim Reinstein in seventh. Joost van der Stoep in eighth. Jeroen Ursum in ninth. And Freddie Bessem was in 10th.
And Sean, how about the next 10?
Yeah, Richard, in 11th place, Neil Heckens, who unfortunately got caught up in that accident there at the end. Wim Stockmans in 12th. Keen Gerrits in 13th. Kim Vandersticklen in 14th. Dennis Garris in 15th. Jarno Panikiet, unfortunate finish for him, down in 16th. Eric Teskey in 17th. Tim Wygen in 18th. Hank Ahrens in 19th, and Steven Van Helsdingen in 20th.
That's correct. And we're now down to the cars who were laps down. So in 21st place, Richard Cortland. Eric Mulder in 22nd. Kiers Jokums, very unfortunate for him, in 23rd. W.J. Van den Brandt in 24th. Mark Vergeris in 25th. Denny Reitz in Victor Elsenar in 26th. 27th was Denny Reitz. Robert De Roy in 28th place. 29th place was Pascal Dukas. And number 30 was Nano van der Poel. And now, Ayrton, we're right down to the non-finishers.
Yep, the non-finishers consisted of Bram van der Stickelen, Joost van Hoorn, Kevin Beckmans, Thymen Nabers, Bob van Katwijk, Jori Flossie, Mark Bensvelsen, G. Slackmulders, W. Rents van Brink, Robert Witt, and Joan Summers.
And there you have it, folks. 41 people, 41 drivers contested this race. Only one can win, and that person was Joey Smith. Well, we do have some people we can talk to. And first off, we will bring into the booth Rudy de Witt, and we will have a chat with Rudy about his race and his third place finish. Rudy, you finished in third place in this race. Congratulations. A good finish.
Thank you.
A race marred by cautions, and certainly the end marred by a caution when we really didn't want it. How did you see this race, my friend?
Well, it's not really my favorite type of racing, but I had a couple of good teammates in Joey, Fabian, and Pascal. And well, we had a really good qualifying set that allowed us to start from the front, so that's always a good position to go from. And unfortunately, after the first pit stops, we lost Pascal due to a crash. And but in the end, we tried to get him back on the lead lap, and just by taking turns and giving him a good push. But yeah, the green flag pit stops got in the way, and unfortunately, we didn't have an option to help Pascal any further. And in the end, yeah, it was really, yeah, how do you say that? It's difficult to get in the front with well, basically two tandems around you, and yeah, I got lucky in the end there in the last lap. I fell back to 9th place because I didn't have anybody to help me get up there. And I think it was Freddie who gave me a little bump in the last lap, and when the crash unfortunately happened, or for me it wasn't that unfortunately, I was able to get back into third place when the caution came. So in the end, that was luck for me that the caution came, although not for the people watching, I think.
Well, look, this race, now you've had two unfortunate races in the previous two races, so a good finish this time will most certainly help your chances in the championship, because certainly you've been fast in the whole series, and you must have fancied your chances of winning in the other two races, and so this finish will certainly help you.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the good finish. Yeah, it's NASCAR. Sometimes you have luck and sometimes you don't. So yeah, Darlington, I had a really good car, but yeah, what happens, and you cannot control everything, and that's also what's fun running ovals.
Well, Rudy, thank you so much for talking to us. A great third place. Congratulations. I know it's a little bit of a lottery at times with these super speedway races, but luck worked in your favor or came to help you today. Thank you for talking to us. And now we will call in our second place finisher, Fabian de Jong. And Sean, you're going to talk to Fabian.
Yes.
So at this point, we're just waiting for Fabian to come into the interview room.
There we go. Fabian de Jong. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well, second place, and it almost didn't wind up like that for you as Eric Teskey got down into you there and just rubbed you a little bit, but you managed to keep her on the track.
Yeah, that was a close one. Joey, of course, was a teammate of me together with Rudy. And yeah, he was getting hot, so he needed to go to the middle. And he got a push off Eric, but he followed him when Joey came back in front of me. So it was close, but all in all, the teammates, except for Pascal, we finished in the top 3. So I'm happy.
Yeah, well, it sounds that way this week. We were talking about this before the race that you didn't sound very happy last week, even though you got there on the podium. But hey, I'm looking at the points right now. It looks like you're going to be the lead guy leaving Daytona.
Yeah, finishing second, Neil and Dennis, I think they were. Neil was leading the standing and Dennis was third.
That's
and,
correct.
They were involved in the crash and I didn't. And I even got the point for the most leading laps, so that's nice.
Yeah, very, very nice day for you. I think a few of us are heading over to the beach. When we get done with the broadcast here, we're going to catch some waves, so you'll have to come join us.
Who knows?
That was that. What do you think about all the caution flags? Do you think inexperience by some of these guys led to that, or impatient?
Well, I think mostly inexperience. I mean, it's something else racing lap by lap 2 wide or even 3 wide. So it's a little bit different than single file on the other tracks.
How much experience have you had at Daytona?
I think about 7,000 laps.
So you've got this one figured out. Well, it showed in that it was a great race.
Yeah, together with Joey, I've done a lot of this type of racing. So we were already tipped on the guys on the forum. So.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for coming in today and putting on a good show for all your followers. And you want to give a shout out to anybody, say hello to anybody before we get you off here?
Yeah, of course, my sponsors and my teammates. Without them, I never finished second and leading the standings now. So.
Well, again, congratulations to you, Fabian. Can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks again, and I'm sure you'll find your way up front somehow.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for the broadcast.
Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Sean. Now, we have not got our winner, Joey Schmidt, here to talk to, but we do have our Roy Visser, who's been with us all race long. So, Ed, why don't you have a word with Roy?
Thanks, Richard. Roy Visser, you managed to rack up a 5th place finish after just avoiding that accident near the end. Can you tell us a little bit about what was happening in that final little stint?
Oh, it was so unfortunate. We were lined up perfectly with the four of us: Neil, Jarno, Dennis, and Jeroen, and myself. And we were going for the final 2 laps. We had all the cooling we had, and we could push the final 1.5 laps. And then the caution came out. It looked like Eric followed Joey when there was a car inside of Eric. So it was very unfortunate. And all my teammates were now 15, 16, and 17, I believe, and I got lucky with the 5th place, but we could have finished a lot better.
Yeah, and obviously that is disappointing for your teammates, but for you, you got lucky. 5th place finish is definitely pretty good, especially compared to some of your other finishes so far this season. Do you think this is going to help you in the championship and get back up into the top 10?
Yeah, I'm very glad with this 5th position. I finished 5th in the first race, and I got unlucky in the second race, but this definitely helps my position. We have one. Yeah, how do you call it? One of the bad finishes gets deleted from your results. So hopefully that will be my Darlington race, and I can keep up the finishing in the 5th or in the top 5. Will be very good for the championship.
Yep, and how are you looking for the next race? I'm not sure what track it is, but do you think you'll do well in it?
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. It's a Watkins Glen road circuit, and I'm always a lot faster on road, so it should be fun.
Yeah, we saw you in the invitational race. You seem fast, so looking forward to that one.
Yeah. All of us are looking forward for Watkins Glen. We are all mainly road guys, so it's going to be fun turning right once in a while.
Yeah, and so thanks, Roy. Good finish for you. Thanks for being our in-car reporter throughout the race. You gave us a lot of information throughout the race.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Okay, back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Ethan. And we have one more interview to do, and that is going to be with the organizer, or one of the organizers of this series, Jeroen Ursem. So let's bring Jeroen in, and we'll have a chat with him about the series and about this race. Just waiting for Jeroen to come into the booth. There he is right now. Jeroen, my friend, a great series you guys have put on here. Absolutely excellent racing. Such a pleasure to call these races for you.
Thank you, Richard.
And
very
Jeroen,
nice to see
talk,
all the broadcast happening that you guys are doing. I hope you enjoy the caution runs.
Well, now, there's nothing wrong with this race at all. This race was very exciting. And I just briefly want to talk to you about your own race. Like, we saw you way down the order early on in the race, but at the end of it, a nice 9th place finish.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with that. I qualified way in the back, and I was in the first caution, I think. And then I got the new car, and thanks to my spotter, I dodged almost all the wrecks, and then to my surprise, I was 9th in the end. Yeah,
well, that's a pretty good finish. So, Jeroen, tell us a little bit about the series now. You guys seem to be going from strength to strength. Each race seems to be getting better than the previous one.
Yeah, I think that's also the way to go. That the mindset has to be on oval tracks for the most guys that aren't familiar with running the ovals. So I think every race you can see the improvement of all the competitors. I think that's a good thing, and that's something that we can expect as well.
Yeah, no, we thoroughly enjoy the whole series, and it makes a big difference for us talking about oval racing instead of road races. But next race, you guys are at Watkins Glen, which is in fact a road course.
Yeah, that's going to be a treat. We'll have to see about how that will go, but I think that will be a good race. I also think that we can get the same turn up as tonight. 41 drivers is not bad. I think that's also possible for Watkins to get that kind of numbers.
Yeah, well, it's been fantastic. The racing has been great. You guys, to be honest, you guys have surprised us when we started the broadcasts. We didn't know you guys. We're getting to know you now, and you are an excellent bunch of racers, and we just love doing the broadcasts. Neil, Jeroen, thanks for talking to us, my friend. We will
Yeah.
let you go. And unfortunately, we get to that stage of the proceedings where we now have to close the broadcast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we got a good.
thanks again, and
We
we'll
got a
see you
good
next time.
amount of broadcast thrower money this time.
I'm sorry, I just stepped over you then. Can you just repeat
Oh,
that?
sorry. No, we got a good. We got a good turnout for our money this time. 2.5 hour broadcast.
All right, thank you, Jeroen. We'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah,
Well,
see you
folks,
later.
it's the end of the broadcast, and we want to thank a number of people and organizations for bringing this race to you. Firstly, we do thank the organizers. We've just spoken to Jeroen Issam, but there are others involved. Neil Heckens, Roy Visser, Joep Willemsen, and Dennis Garrison all helped to bring this series to you. We also want to thank iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, and Ava Media for providing the software and also the hardware that we use for the broadcasts. Thank you also to the team today. Sean, great job. Ayrton, wonderful. Giancarlo, great directing. And thank you from myself as well. If you would like to find out more about GSRC, our website is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. If you go there, you will find our broadcast schedule along with archived races and also race highlights. We are also on Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel, and we're on Twitter, and our hashtag is at GSR Channel. A very special thank you to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with some really great music. You can find it not only here on the GSRC, but also in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, as well as Spotify. If you like the music, please tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. Many thanks also to Casey Lalonde, who provides us with the music for our highlight videos. You can find more of his music at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. Now, folks, a number of upcoming races. First of all, race number 4 in the Piston Cup will be on March 23rd at 11:45 Pacific Time or 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US. The next race in the MWTS, or what is known as the Green Valley Lake.com MX5 World Tour, will be race number 9 at the Silverstone Historic Course. That's on March 15th, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. In the Enduro Pro Series, we will feature race number 4 at Laguna Seca. That'll be on March 15 at 8:45 a.m. Pacific, 11:45 a.m. Eastern. And then lastly, we've got the 4th race in the Roof European Trophy, and that'll be at Silverstone National Course, and that's on March 16th at 12:15 Pacific and 3:15 p.m. Eastern. So that's all for next week and the week after as well. Please check our website to refresh the start times for these races. That's it from us on this broadcast. Thank you all for viewing, and until the next time, please race hard, race safely, and we'll see you on the track.